Welcome back to a brand new episode from Zach Malin Collectibles. Today, we're not going to be ripping sports or non-sports cards, but instead, we are going to be reacting to PSA's recent announcement that starting June the 2nd, they will be halting all value-based submissions. Now, as you know, we've had our recent issues with PSA. More recently, FedEx lost all of my cards, and we're still waiting for a resolution. Now, am I crazy for wanting to submit one more time to PSA right before this deadline? Stay tuned and find out. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here once again at Zach Malin Collectibles. As you know, we have a decision to make. Should we submit more cards to be graded right before the June 2nd deadline, where they are halting value submissions at PSA? As you know, we are a Collectors Club member at PSA. Therefore, we get discounts for bulk submissions. However, as a Collectors Club member, if you don't have that discount, basically your membership is deemed useless. The reason why we have to ask the question whether or not to go ahead and grade is because we've had recent issues with PSA. As you know, based on our recent PSA reveal video, we did get our cards graded by PSA. They had sent them out for submission. However, FedEx lost, apparently, more like stole my graded cards. So right now, we're going back and forth with PSA to resolve the issue because they did use FedEx as their shipping carrier. They are responsible for making things right. So right now we're going back and forth because right now I'm just not satisfied with the amount that they want to resolve the issue with or reimburse me, I should say, for the lost cards. So originally our plan was not to grade again with PSA until we had the issue resolved. But with this new deadline of June the 2nd, we are sort of put under the gun to decide whether or not we should grade with them again. Because as you know, after this, the hold in terms of value submissions is an indefinite hold. We don't know if they're going to go ahead and reinstate this a year from now or 9 months from now. So even though some have asked, well, why not go ahead and submit cards to other grading companies like CGC, SGC, Beckett, or even TAG? Well, as you know, they are good options, but it's no surprise that the cards hold better value with PSA. They are considered the gold standard in terms of grading. So, of course, that's a decision to grade or not to grade once again with PSA. So no surprise, we've made the decision to go ahead and grade once again one final time. We're giving them another shot. Well, why not? Because we're Collectors Club members, so we got to utilize our membership. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and submit some cards. We're going to prep them, show you which cards we are submitting this time so that you can see from start to finish, hopefully, and then go ahead and drop them off. So stay tuned for that as we go through each step. So we've chosen our cards for grading, guys. We've chosen some sports and for the very first time, some non-sports cards. So we're going to submit those with two separate submissions. However, we're surprised as we've opened up the computer ready to submit and complete our submission online to find out some striking changes since the last time that we submitted cards. So we went ahead and went online ready to submit our order, and I was shocked to find out some changes since the last time that we submitted some cards. So number one, big thing here is the bulk. The value bulk that's being halted is now a 50 card minimum. All right. And the turnaround time is 160 days. What is that? That's like, are we talking about close to 6 months right there? All right. So that's the turnaround. The price is still $24.99, but I don't have 50 cards ready. So that really prices me out here. So now that leads me to value. And you could see it's a $7, almost $8, I guess an $8 difference between the two. So now with this one, you get it in a little bit earlier time period at 120 days, which is about 4 months, which is exactly what it took last time when I submitted my value bulk. So unfortunately, we're being priced out to this range right here as opposed to the bulk. So in this case, I'm not really going to benefit from use of my collector's club. We're going to have to go with the value for our submission. Now, I do notice that we can now mix our cards between sports and non-sports. Previously, TCG had their own submission as well as price range. It used to be, I believe, $1 or $2 cheaper if you submitted TCG, which includes Pokemon and One Piece. And now it's just mixed into the same grouping. So but in this order, rather than submit two different orders, we can just put them all together to make a bulk of 50. But I don't have enough cards between my sports, non-sports, and Zach's Pokemon card submission. We don't have enough for 50. So we're going to have to go with the value. So stay tuned for the cards that we chose to have submitted. So the cards have been prepped and ready to go. So this is who will be submitting. We have a mix of sports and non-sports cards. So we'll be very sad if these are lost or stolen. A lot of Coopers, as you can see. And then we have our non-sports. And this includes some submissions by our Pokemon collector, Zach, as well. A lot of the numbered Disney cards here. And here are his Pokemon cards that we are submitting. So the difference is you can submit and put them all together in a bundle where you don't have to separate TCG from sports. However, we don't have 50 here. We have closer to 30. All right, so we're going to submit these and hopefully get 10s. But better yet, hopefully get them back into our hands. So after you've prepped the card, now you need to go ahead and submit it, okay, into PSA's submission order form. So we've already started a submission order form. Let's go ahead and look for the proper submission for Cedric Coward. So what you'd look in is you just go ahead and type in what you think the product is. Sometimes they'll have pictures to verify it, sometimes no. But anyways, if you have anything that mislabeled, they'll go ahead and correct that for you. So we're looking for the X-Fractor, and we should have put in blue X-Fractor. So that's right here. Can't really see it all that well. And you go ahead and save that. And what it does, after you've saved it, it will populate down there. So it shows how much the insured value is, and these are for cards that will be max insured for anything less than $500. So as you can see, we've started already our order. This is for the value submission at $32.99. Unfortunately, the bulk orders now require a 50 card minimum, which we're not going to get to. Here's the final tally after prepping the cards, putting them together, submitting them. I decided to remove one of the cards after taking another look at the Caitlin Clark. I went ahead and removed that card. Zach actually added 2 additional cards, so he's got 7 cards in this order, and we total now to 27 cards. So for our grading level of value, because we can't get bulk pricing on this one. At $32.99 each, we are now on the hook for $890.73. That is before tax and shipping. The tally at the end with the shipping fees is $63.11. So the total, estimated total, is $953.84. And I say estimated, and they say estimated, is because they want that opportunity to upcharge you when they find out that your card is of greater value. So the hope is this time around we get our cards, because we don't have an option against shipping through FedEx. So we're going to have to give it another shot with them. So we have completed our submission. I'm not going to show it to you, but underneath this is a QR code that you need to bring to the events to have them scanned, and they'll go ahead and print out your paperwork based on that. They also will send a copy to your email. So now that means that our cards are ready to be either dropped off, which we will do, or if not, if we wanted to, we can also mail them out. But we are going to drop these off. So join us as we go ahead and drive about 35 minutes from our home to drop them off. So we just pulled up to world famous Burbank Sports Cards, and we are going to submit our PSA submission. So let's roll on through. They do have a drop-off center here, and that's where we're headed. So it is a Saturday, and it's very busy here, so hopefully we won't have to wait in line for too long. And here is the submission line for PSA. So we are here ready to submit this 27 card submission. Let's see how long this takes us to get through the line. We are near the front. We are next. It's only been a few minutes. Submitted our QR code, and cards are being submitted now. Yeah, we're good? Okay. So that took about 10 minutes, okay? So it's submitted. The QR code helped a lot to expedite it because I did all the paperwork beforehand. However, at this drop-off, you can do the paperwork here as well. So that's a wrap. We'll have to wait. I think we're waiting, 4 months to get these back. So we're hoping for all 10s. We're hoping we actually get the cards this time, so stay tuned.